you're not gonna go to hell by watching and applying the strategies in this video, okay? What this actually is gonna do is gonna reveal to you the natural process of falling in love. Healthy people, when you're not traumatized, if you actually date someone who's actually normal and has high self-esteem, they're gonna create uncertainty in you. It's just natural, right? The reason why is because when you're anxious, when you have a lot of trauma, when you're needy and creepy, it's very difficult to create uncertainty in the other person. And that's why people, when people are needy and creepy, they turn people off for the simple fact that they create too much certainty. I know exactly what you're thinking with your face. You tell me exactly what you want. There's no mystery, right? I could easily predict you. I know exactly what you're gonna say. I know exactly how you're gonna react. And people then use that against you, but also they lose respect for you. They see you as somebody who can't control themselves, right? Me as a guy, if I'm an extremely lustful guy, for example, and I have no control over my libido, a woman is gonna see that and she's gonna say, oh, this guy is very easily to manipulate. All I gotta do is dangle some poo poo and I'm easily manipulated. And when it happens, they lose respect for me. And so that's why you could be extremely attractive, right? Because at the end of the day, this is not about looks. This is not about looks. This is about having the takein effect. What's the takein effect? Well, the takein effect is what happens when you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, where all of a sudden you become more attractive. Now, why is that? Well, because when somebody observes you, you create uncertainty. They don't know whether or not they can seduce you. They don't know whether or not they're good looking enough to be able to divert their attention from your main partner to them. A lot of the times, this is the main reason. When I have a girlfriend, for example, obviously I don't want to cheat on her. So when I talk to women, there's naturally gonna be like an unconscious mystery to the way that I talk. There's gonna be some distance. And the uncertainty for the woman is that she doesn't know whether or not I like her. She doesn't know whether or not she could seduce me. And that causes people to chase, that causes people to try to get you. So this taking effect is something that every person who's been in a relationship could tell you. It's actually a real thing, right? And what we're gonna be talking about is how to produce this effect. It's not gonna, because this is the thing, there's a warning behind this, okay? People are gonna have two reactions to this. One, they're gonna walk away, or they're gonna chase. People are gonna see your behavior and say, fuck this shit, I'm not gonna deal with this. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But the people that stay, when you do this, oh, they're already stuck. They're stuck in quicksand, and the more they try to get out, the deeper they get. So with this, you're gonna remove all of the lukewarm responses, right? You're not gonna, people are either gonna hate you or love you, right? And I'll be honest with you, I prefer that. Because what it means is that you're triggering people. You're somebody that's sticky. You know how to get people to think of you. And that's the type of attention that we're talking about, right? So understand, like, yeah, some people are not gonna like this. And some people are gonna like this a lot. Before, you never had this type of reaction because you're just too afraid. I just want you guys to understand this. Yes, it's exhausting, but shut the fuck up, okay? That's just how life is. Humans are exhausting, everything is exhausting. There's no reason to complain, because by you complaining that this is what you have to do, it's like somebody complaining that they have to go to work every day. You're just lazy, right? You're just lazy, and you don't want to think harder. You don't want to think about how to satisfy them. You don't want to think about how to make the experience even more memorable. Because if you really want to give them a memorable experience, you got to learn how to create uncertainty. It's like a magician. Yes, you could get out of your handcuffs in under 30 seconds, but you extend it and create uncertainty in the crowd so that they could pay more attention to the magician and make the tricks appear better than they really are, right? You do that to create anticipation, all right? So we're gonna be talking about that today. And if you guys wanna work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org, and I can teach you guys how to apply this so that if you're needy and creepy, I can help you guys not be needy and creepy, because most likely you are, all right? So you can do that now by clicking on the description down below. So, to apply these strategies, you need two requirements, right? Self-absorption or self-love. Self-absorption, because if you lack self-love, when you're self-absorbed, it's much more easier to create uncertainty, right? Because it's all about you. And because you're selfish, you act in a way that's very difficult to understand. You become more mysterious. This is why narcissistic people, psychopathic people, sociopathic people, people who are extremely insecure, but from an inward perspective, meaning they don't seek validation, rather they hide their insecurities. These people tend to create more uncertainty in people, all right? You tend to see this a lot even with people with addictions, because they act hot and cold. They're so contradiction. They cancel plans so much, they're so inconsistent that the person who they're dating, they naturally feel insecure and they ask themselves, why did they treat me this way? They tell me they like me, but then they cancel last minute, or better yet, they don't even show up to the dates. This is what happens when you're self-absorbed, when you don't give a fuck about the other person. This is why when you don't like them, you tend to do what I'm telling you correctly, right? So the next thing you have to have, if you don't have the self-absorption, right, which is good, it's self-love. And that means that you love yourself so much that you don't permit yourself to over pursue someone who's not showing you interest. The self-love will stop you from doing too much, right? The self-love will stop you from being too needy and creepy, right? And that's, to me, is the most important thing, right? Because this also means that you have the capacity to receive the other person's love. Because unfortunately, and you see this a lot with high-value guys, where you have a lot of women like the high-value guy, and usually it's because that guy is usually pretty cold, right? To be successful, you have to have a certain level of self-absorption, a certain level of just being self-sufficient to the point that you self-isolate yourself, right? You're successful, but you're alone. But the problem with that is that you actually lack the capacity to connect with other people. You're afraid to connect, right? You prefer to do things on your own. And so this type of person, yeah, they get a lot of people interested in them, but unfortunately they can never keep someone, right? So people with self-love, they have the capacity to draw people in, but also to keep them interested in them, right? So that to me is very important. So remember this, right? So what's the first one, right? How does uncertainty make them fall in love with you? Well, first of all, it affects a projection, right? When you don't know whether or not somebody likes you, when you don't know what's on their mind, naturally your insecurities are gonna fill in the blanks. What do I mean by that? Imagine that you're a drug dealer and a cop tells you, where in the room are the drugs? Naturally, you're gonna notice that you're gonna look where the drugs are at first, and then you're gonna look somewhere else. Your knowledge of the drugs will cause you to leak out information where it is. It's kind of similar. Where if you don't know if somebody likes you, if you don't know what the other person is thinking, you're gonna project the thoughts that you really think about yourself onto them. So for example, if I'm a cheater and I cheat, and you tell me that you're late on a day, or maybe you stop texting me for a few hours, because the thought and the knowledge that I'm a lying ass cheater is in my mind, naturally I'm gonna assume you're also cheating. What I'm thinking, my insecurities will fill in the blanks, right? Does that make sense? So it's kind of similar. You act uncertain, you act hot and cold, it will naturally cause the other person to exert more energy to understand your behavior. And if there's a lot of unprocessed emotions, a lot of trauma, a lot of insecurities, those insecurities will create a wildfire of thoughts and emotions inside of their minds that will appear to them as, I'm attracted to you. But in reality, it's just insecurity, right? And that, or anxiety, and the only way for me to relax my anxiety is for me to know if you like me. But from my perspective, that feels like I like this person. I'm attracted to this person, right? Like that's what it's not genuine attraction, but that's the beauty about it, right? If this happens long enough, and prolonged enough, and continuously enough, they might fall in love. But they might fall in love through trauma. Understand, man, like, if you've been highly traumatized, that's what your mind is gonna use to create love. It's gonna use whatever right? So if you haven't been traumatized, then it's gonna use those untraumatized emotions to create love. But unfortunately, if you've been traumatized, whatever is there, that's what it's gonna use. But the problem with that is usually temporary. It's usually just a projection, right? So by acting hot and cold, creating uncertainty, and I'm gonna show you how to do that through this video, it allows people to project, and those projections, a lot of times, are extremely difficult to break. The only way they break is through them getting actually to know you, right? As long as you don't gaslight them and they actually get to know you, what will happen is that they actually get turned off over time. Those relationships don't last too long, right? So that's one thing, right? So not knowing. And that's the beauty about it. This is pretty much how we, this is how we create love through projection. I mean, through uncertainty, through a projection. And that's why it's not good, because it's not temporary. But I always tell, if a guy just wants to get poom poom, then this works, right? Because sometimes if trauma is all you know, and the building material for love, the building material you use to fall in love is trauma, then honestly, that's all you have. I mean, you can't really blame yourself. Only through going to a meditation retreat, like going to a Vipassana retreat, can reverse that. But that's just how it is, right? You can't really, if this happened to you, don't be so mad at yourself, right? Like I fell in love before through trauma. Like you don't know, so you really cannot be so mean to yourself. And so we're gonna go to a quick little commercial break. The person, a lot of the times you just don't know what to do. You have habits and patterns that whenever somebody triggers you, you completely forget what to do the right thing. Well, guess what? I have a course for that. And it's called The Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and The Feminine Woman, what I call the fundamentals. All of those courses are meant to eradicate and exercise the needy, creepy parts in you through action. Meaning, you do what the videos say, and without a shadow of a doubt, you actually get the results. You'll notice that men call you back more. Men will want more relationships with you. They're gonna be the ones that are needy and creepy. They're gonna be the ones that want something. They're gonna be the ones that are the aggressors in trying to get a relationship out of you. But the problem is that a lot of people just watch one or two videos and completely forget that there's actually a system. Don't just watch one or two videos. Get the system either by purchasing all of them and get a discount, or purchase them individually. Because a lot of the times just watching one video in isolation, you actually miss the big picture. You have to understand why it works. You have to understand what to do next. And a lot of times my videos just can't address that. A lot of people, you see by the testimonies right here, a lot of people have done what those videos say and they've gotten results. Like the other day, I was in Mexico and they were like, "Hey, Alexis," and I'm like, "Hey, oh my God, your videos are so great." And I'm like, and she was like, "Look at my kid." I'm like, what you talk about your kid? That's not my kid. She's like, no, because of him, because of your videos, he's here. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's a thing. But I get that a lot. And ironically, that woman watches all of my videos, right? So purchase those courses, man. And if you don't like it, you actually could get a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? Purchase them individually or get a discount and purchase them all by clicking on the description down below. You have the option of purchasing the one with the bonuses that obviously it's more material, where it's like I give you guys meditations. There's also other courses on how to make friends, how to master anything, or you could purchase it without the bundle, which is much more affordable, all right? And with that, you guys are able to support my channel, which will allow me to make more videos, okay? Anyways, see you guys inside, and thank you. Okay, we're back. So, next one is the slow process of realizing that somebody likes you is extremely important. That's the difference between online dating and real dating. Studies show that people who meet online have a high propensity for divorce versus people who meet in real life. In my opinion, the reason why is because when you meet people online, you know they like you already. Like, you don't have to wonder if they like you. Like, the process of knowing that we like each other is quicker and almost instantaneous. In real life, it's not the same. In real life, when you meet someone and you like them, and you like them, you don't know if they like you back. And that process could take months. And that slow process, it's like cooking food at a slow rate. It tastes better. That slow process is a process that actually solidifies the love, the future love you're gonna feel for them. Because you get to know them, you talk to them, you build a sense of friendship. You're every day you go to sleep, you're thinking about them, you're like, do they like me or not? And that process hurts, but it's a type of pain that when you finally fall in love, it's like a foundation. It's like an extremely strong bedrock foundation to a house, right? But when you instantly know if they like you, it's almost like you're building a house on sand, right? You want them to struggle to come to that realization that they like you. It's like a drug addict. You can't, it's one thing telling them that they're addicted and they need help, It's another thing when they come to that conclusion through relapsing and through experiencing negative consequences of their drinking. And that just creates a stronger foundation to stay sober their whole lives, right? And so that strong foundation in dating is uncertainty. As they're getting to know you, there comes days that they're like, oh, do they like me if you're classmates with them? And then there comes days you're like, fuck, man, maybe she doesn't like me. Maybe, she didn't ask me hard enough how was my weekend. And so that undulation creates a type of momentum that as when they realize you like them back, it intensifies your experience and accelerates the natural process. And that's why I tell people, get to know people through your friends and family. And when you find someone that you like, don't tell them. Just be friends, right? Even me as a guy, don't tell them. Act as though you don't like them, right? Just be friendly. It builds up an unconscious sexual tension that they'll literally think of you more because they don't know whether or not you like them. And if they're insecure, oh my God, it's gonna go crazy. What you'll notice is that they'll start doing all of the chasing. Even women, when they know me as a friend and I'm not showing them that I like them, they're gonna start being needy and creepy to elicit signs that I like them, right? To relieve the tension, right? So the next thing is uncertainty creates compulsory fantasies. So as you're getting to know me, and you're not really sure if you like me, if I like you or not, I do like you, but you don't know because it creates a tension inside of you that you want, that just builds up, and so it builds up, and you release that tension through fantasizing. Since you can't experience us being together, well then the brain will then start to fantasize. It becomes a pleasurable experience, but also it's a two-edged sword because it creates a dissatisfaction with the present relationship. So then the brain then makes it its goal to fulfill these fantasies, and so they start to get aggressive. And so the fact that they're thinking of you, fantasizing about you, and then acting on it, it creates a symbiotic type of energy that creates and accelerates the feeling of loving a person. But if you know they like you, right? Let's go inside. If they know you like them, and you do this, it's not gonna work, right? For the simple fact that if you give them that satisfaction, there's no need to fantasize. There's no need to think about it. We want the fantasies, motherfuckers. We want them to think about it. Walking, like Bob and Melissa and Tyrone sitting in a tree, KISSING, motherfuckers. Like, you want them to be fantasizing, to be fucking twirling their fingers, looking at the fucking sky, right? Because it's an important process of falling in love, right? So compulsory fantasies, those fantasies, always when they think about you in this fantasy, you always look more attractive, always look more slimmer, always look more muscular. And they start to see you through the squinted gaze of that fantasy, where they'll see you and they see you really attractive. But to other people, they're like, what the fuck? Like, they're not, you're like shallow how, right? But fantasies, these fantasies is what allows a very average person to get with someone who's above their league. That's pretty much how you do it, because clearly they're ugly. How the fuck are they able to get that person? Well, guess what? They got to know them over time. They didn't know whether or not the other person liked them back. They started fantasizing, and the fantasy is like a Photoshop, where whatever you fantasize, if you really look at them, they never look like the real person. They look like an enhanced version. But then when you see them in real life, your brain will literally superimpose this mentally Photoshopped version onto the other person. And they look more attractive. You forget their flaws. It's truly a very mind-bending thing, right? Next thing is that you want to, in order to increase this uncertainty, you want to take your time and make them wait. Make them wait. You intensify, because think about it, the fantasy is a symptom of internal pressure, of uncertainty, right? And that hurts. Not knowing hurts. Waiting hurts. And so to relieve that pain, to make that pain more bearable, you fantasize. So not only you don't show them exactly what they want to see, like if you like them, you intentionally hide it, or sometimes you send mixed signals, which makes them wait, which increases the pressure, which increases the fantasies, which increases the superimposition when I see you of reality. Meaning, the more you make me fantasize about you, the more I'm gonna see this Photoshop version of you in real life. When I get a text from you, it's not just a normal text, it's a fucking glittering, beautiful thing. That's how you let their brains do the dirty work for you. So you do that through sending mixed signals. You send mixed signals. And I'll be honest with you, mixed signals to an insecure person is anything. Like, it could be that I don't text you tonight because I'm tired, and to the insecure person, oh my God, you must be banging somebody. Oh my God, you must be cheating on me, right? This is why you don't have to do much, right? You just have to sprinkle some mixed signals, and their brains will do the dirty work. Or better yet, just have boundaries, have your life. Like literally, like do things, have a life, and live your own life. Sometimes that includes not including them. And to the highly insecure mind, they have a narrative that their brain is gonna start saying, oh my God, maybe they're not interested. You may not even be sending mixed signals, but if you choose not to include them, their brains will literally start manipulating them and say, oh wow, oh, who's the bitch? Oh, they must be cheating. And then now they start fantasizing about you cheating, or now they start fantasizing, or maybe I'm never gonna be with them anymore. And then you meet them in real person, you validate them, you let them know that they're just being needy and creepy, and then all of a sudden their self-esteem goes from this, and now you lift up their self-esteem, and now you're starting to notice, they'll start to notice, oh, I may be falling in love with them. You have your life, you create space, which is healthy. Their brains, because if they're insecure, will interpret that as a negative thing. You would then let them know they're just being needy and creepy, I like you. And all of a sudden they'll feel silly and dumb for thinking that. But now you started a process that you're controlling their emotions through their insecurity. You're not doing anything wrong, right? It's like when I told a woman one time, you look good today. And she was like, what the fuck you mean I look good today? What does that mean I didn't look yesterday? I'm like, all right, man, all right. It's kind of like that. You don't even have to do anything manipulative, right? Just have your own life. The problem is that people who can't do this, they're just needy and creepy, and they need to consistently be around the other person. Next one is lower your nonverbal cues. I always tell you guys this. You just lower your nonverbal cues. Like, you sometimes are very excited around them, and they have days where you're just more relaxed. Or better yet, just stop having that fucking emotional, super overreactive face. You're just not aware of it. Everyone who likes people, you're doing it. You're just not aware of it. Just lower your nonverbal cues. Be more relaxed. Be more chilled, and people will interpret that as cool and composed. But also, they might say, "Oh man, this person might be too good for me." Like, it's just unconscious, because when somebody likes us, they actually show a lot of nonverbal cues. When somebody don't like us, their nonverbal cues are lower, right? So even if you're acting interested, you're there. By lowering your nonverbal cues, it always leaves a space of doubt. And that space of doubt creates enough pressure to create the fantasies. Next one is this strategy confuses them. It confuses them, right? And that's why they're gonna be fantasizing. Because even if you're doing everything perfect, right? For example, if you see them once a week and they're highly insecure, they're gonna say, why do they only see me once a week, for example, or just twice a week? This is just the confusing and the, I don't know if they like me, I don't know. It's a natural part of humans, but it's what makes them think of you. When you're falling in love, it's the uncertainty that makes them think of you, man. That's why I'm telling you, just do your best to control yourself. Stop texting so much. Stop showing so much interest in the beginning. Just go slower than they are, and it'll always work. And above all, it'll reveal your insecurities, because you'll notice that when you slow down, you might want to speed up. That shows you that part of you that wants to speed up is the needy, creepy part of you that when someone acts uncertain, you want to chase. So if you understand this happens to you, you also understand that this is just human nature. Nobody is susceptible to this. Even me, when a woman acts uncertain and I like her more. When I like her and she gives me too much certainty, I actually slow down. When she goes fast, for some reason, because I know she's going fast, I know she likes me, there's no reason for me to be anxious. Let me just go slower. I already know she likes me. Why do I have to do anything more? She's giving me all the signs that usually I gotta work for. It's selfish to go too fast, because you're making the experience less pleasurable for them. Go slow. Let them suffer. Let them cry a bit. And you'll see how that actually benefits you more, all right? So remember, this is what I call the takein effect. It's not about being better looking, but it's about creating that illusion that people who have boyfriend and girlfriends create, right? That's why they're so attractive. Yes, it's exhausting, but shut the fuck up. Warning, people will have two reactions. They'll either walk away or they'll chase, right? You're gonna stop being a lukewarm person. People are either gonna really like you or think you're fucking arrogant. There are two qualifications, self-absorption and self-love. But remember, the self-absorption part usually leads to you not having emotional intimacy, where from the outside, a lot of people like you, but from the inside, you feel alone. Not good. This creates a projection where their brains will fill in the blanks because you're not exactly saying, I like you and I want to be with you, because you're not being that direct. It leaves space for insecurity to creep in, and their minds will say, they didn't say they like you hard enough, or they say they really like you. They didn't say I love you. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, bitch, I said I like you. Why isn't that enough for you? You see, I'm really teaching you guys that the brain is really insecure, and if you don't talk to people in a very direct way, they're gonna assume the worst. The slow process of realizing that somebody likes you is, to me, one of the most important qualities that people miss out when they do online dating, or when they're really insecure. They instantly tell people they like them, not because they're trying to seduce them, but because they're being selfish. They feel insecure and they want to remove that feeling, even if it's at the cost of creeping the other person out. Take your time, right? Make them wait. That's really the key. Lower your nonverbal cues. This will confuse them. And it's the confusion that we want, because then they'll chase to remove the confusion, all right? People, we're not going to hell for this video. This is pretty good, okay? We're going to heaven. This is heaven type of shit, all right? It's just, when I say things, it just sounds evil, all right? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Support the channel by purchasing my courses, purchasing my drawings and paintings. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm really thankful for you guys. Because of you guys, I'm able to make this video, and I'm really thankful for you guys. Seriously, man. Take care.